Welcome back to Sports Scene here on 101 FM. Kevin Braysher, Darren Madigan, Craig Crowley, Ethan James, all here with you, taking you through to the top of the hour. It's 12 minutes to 10. Your next fresh news update coming up at 10 o'clock. But joining us on the line now from the Golden South Jags and Sports Scene, very regular part of the show, Paula Stuart. Paula, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back, everyone.
Absolute pleasure to always have you back on the show, Paula. Unfortunately, not the greatest news with the Aussie side going down to New Zealand in the World Cup final over there during the week.
No, it was a bit gut-wrenching, actually. Australia was looking pretty good all through the tournament, but we never took our eyes off the New Zealand players, New Zealand team. They were looking pretty good as well. Thought that we could have had it, especially in my opinion. They probably lost one of their best players, Cullen, who had an injury and she was sent home. But no, the Aussies couldn't finish it off in the end.
Paula, a lot of strange movements going on. As a coach, what did you think of the talk coming out of Glasgow from that final with some very strange changes, especially up the forward line?
I can only give my personal opinion. There was a lot of talk that's been going around on the different changes and everything. I did think that the change came with Gretel Tippett coming out on court with only just over 8 minutes in the last quarter. She made a huge change, getting 7 from 7, a couple of intercepts, and she seemed like she lifted the team. So, but you know that Gretel's close to my heart, so I would probably always plug Gretel Tippett.
Yeah.
But I thought she had when she came on, she did very well. So, but yeah, there was a few different changes, but the only one that knows the team as well as they do is the coach. So you have to go with that.
Yeah, but we saw similar strange changes for the senior team earlier in the year, and we take a look at what's happened with Gretel there. I mean, everybody that I've spoken to who actually got to see footage of it streaming online reckons we should have had her on the court a lot earlier. She shot 7 from 7 for 100%.
Probably half time. That would have, yeah. But I mean, it's all good to say and hearsay now. But I would have liked to see Gretel on. They needed some sort of change up, and in my personal opinion, I thought the change was a bit too late.
Yep, fair enough. And we'll just take a look at the bronze medal game. Jamaica won the bronze medal 50-33 over England, which probably not entirely unexpected.
No, I thought Jamaica, they came out very strong. They were looking very good. England was starting to come back a little bit, but Jamaica always had that lead on them.
Fair enough. And actually, you wouldn't believe it. I'm just trying to find the score from the big game. Here we go. 52-47. Just a reminder, that was the final score. Australia went down 52-47 to New Zealand. Let's turn our attention to the Australian matches coming up. We have a match next weekend, and Australia will be playing New Zealand in the bottom of the world, Chile, Invercargill. They love their sport down there. I can understand it because it's probably the only way they can stay warm. And we've got Australia with Laura Geitz captaining the side coming up. What are your thoughts on the game against the Silver Ferns, the first one for the year?
Oh, well, I think it's always really close, Australia versus New Zealand. If someone's going to go there, I wish I could be there to watch the game. It was always an exciting game to watch. Laura Geitz being captain of the team, very exciting time for her first test to be captain. I would still tip, it's going to be a hard one. I would tip Australia for the first one. Only just though.
All right, just taking a look at those matches. We've got one on the 15th, which is next Sunday, another one midweek on the 19th in Auckland, and then they come back here to Australia to play on the 4th of October in Adelaide, the 7th of October in Melbourne, and the 13th of October in Canberra. After that, we have a couple of tests which will be split by Netfest on the Gold Coast, but those couple of tests will be played in Wollongong on the 16th and on the Gold Coast on the 19th against Malawi, the Malawi Queens. So, but we'll get through the New Zealand games first because they're the ones we wait for every year, and we'll take you through the results and details and preview each match as we go along. Paula, the Firebirds were announced during the week, and I'll just go through the 2014 Firebirds. Your Mission Queensland Firebirds for 2014 will be Romelda Aiken, Laura Geitz captain, Nicola Gray, Demelza McLeod, Claire McMiniman comes out of retirement, Jacinta Messer, Stephanie Puapolo from she's the last-minute signing from the Adelaide Thunderbirds, I believe. Kimberly Ravillon, Verity Simmons, Gabby Simpson, Amelia Ann Wells from Bundaberg, and Amoret or Amy Wild. So that's the team. There's about 5 Queenslanders in there, Paula. I'll just go through them. We've got Laura Geitz, Demelza McLeod, Claire McMinimum, Jacinta Messer and Amelia Ann Wells. Realistically, though, how many of those 5 do you think we'll see on court on a regular basis?
Well, the defence end, I think that Queenslanders do produce great defenders. So it's I'm so glad to see Claire McMiniman back in the Firebirds team. I think she'll be raring to go. She's had the year off. And it's fantastic to see her back in the team. Jacinta Messer is always a workhorse as well. And Demelza McLeod, she should be getting that experience with the Oz squad against the Malawi team. And having Laura Geitz, of course, the Australian captain. So a pretty decent defence end that Firebirds have got there. So which is really good to see. Yep. Amelia Ann Wells hopefully she'll get some more court time this year. So we haven't really seen her play in the last 4 years. So hopefully she'll be able to get a quarter or 2 this year out on court.
You're listening to Sports Scene here on 101 FM. We're talking to Paula Stuart, head coach of the Golden South Jags. Paula, I know you've got a few thoughts on some of the teams. You've also got thoughts on some really great Queensland Cup players who probably may have just missed out or should have been in people's thoughts. What are your thoughts there? Yeah,
I've got 4 players that come to mind, and they're Steph Wood, Laura Sherian, Sally Butters and Chanel Dyer. That's 3 centre courts and 1 shooter. Steph Wood, just having a look at her, she has had great experience as well. She has been at the AIS 2010, 2011. She was in the 21s Australian in 2011, where they played New Zealand and won the series 2-1. We've got Laura Sherian at the AIS for 3 years, 07, 08 and 09. 21 Australian team in 08-09. She toured New Zealand, Jamaica, World Youth Cup, World Youth Competition where they won gold. She was in the Firebirds in 2010. Sally Butters, 21s Australian squad in 2011. Chanel Dyer, 21s team for the Cook Islands, and she played at the World Youth Competition as well. That's where they came 6th, and she played against Australia and England in that tournament as well. And she was in the 21s Australian squad 2010, 2011. These 4 girls, in my personal opinion, have really proved themselves in the QCC comp in Queensland. And 3 of them were in the A&L. Chanel Dyer had other things on at that time. But they all have really proved themselves, and it's probably a little bit disappointing, in my point of view, that not 1, maybe even 2 of them, I feel that could have had a crack at the Firebirds. Yeah,
I obviously, I agree with you because, my thoughts on the QCC are quite public in that we should be using it more as a ground to bring players through. I mean, the girls are without question good enough. Laura Sherian, I'm a massive fan of and have been for a number of years. I've never seen probably hardly anybody work as hard on the court as she does. She's probably got the biggest engine in the sport, certainly in the state of Queensland. But just tell us a little bit about Chanel Dyer, because she first came to my attention. She's a very young girl who I saw her one day against you guys at the Jags literally tear you guys apart single-handedly for a whole quarter.
Oh, she ripped us apart in that quarter. Well, This year she's even stepped up even more. In the grand final, when it was Cougars against Tigers in our QCC comp, she actually got player of the match. Her flair, she's really worked hard on her fitness this year. She was giving it all that she had to see how far she can go. And she's really stepped up in the game, and she's an exciting player to watch. But she's always been around. When she used to play for the 19s comp here in Queensland, she actually got player of the series there as well. So she's not, she's very well known in Queensland, that she always seems to be one of the top players. And this year she's proved even more, which has been fantastic. And with her and Sally Butters and the Cougars team working together, they were just lethal this year. So it's not just their fitness, their speed. I would probably rate as well Sally Butters as one of the most craftiest people on court. Her brains on court and how she just knows where to place the ball in the feeds is, it's very inspiring to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you on that, and we'll discuss this a bit more over the coming weeks. We have the test matches to go through once again next week. We'll have the result of our test match for next week. I'll just take you very quickly before we go. We haven't got much time, but the squad for this weekend is Laura Geitz, Bianca Chatfield as captain and vice captain respectively. Kimberly Green is also a vice captain. Caitlin Bassett, Erin Bell, Madison Brown, Rebecca Bully, Paige Hadley, Renee Hallinan, Shani Layton, Demelza McLeod, great get there, and Nat Medhurst, Kimberly Ravillon, and Caitlin Thwaite. So we wish them all the luck on the weekend. Paula, thank you so much. We shall catch you again next week.
Okay, thanks, Darren. Thanks, everyone.
No worries at all, Paula. We'll get you on next week. We're going to wrap it all up here on Sports Scene. We're out of time for another week. Gee, it's been a jam-packed show. So much to talk about, so much happening, and it's only going to get more in the coming week.